Ashley, you talking about the clearance rack? Meanwhile, Tyler is in the free bin outside of the store that the clearance rack is in, baby. Tyler is in the free bin. What's up, y'all? It's your girl Roxy with Roxy Says, and we're going to talk about it. Today, we are reviewing Love is Blind DC Season 7, Episode 12, the finale, okay? First of all, before we get started, Netflix, Kinetic, whoever, why was this episode an hour and a half? Y'all know we could have wrapped this up in 32 minutes. Y'all know we could have, okay? Nonetheless, we have a whole lot to talk about, so let's get right into it. But before we do, don't forget to hit like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure that you hit that notification bell so that you're made aware every time I post a new video. So before y'all start asking me, yes, I seen the interview. I didn't see the entire interview, but I have seen a lot of the interview as well as some discourse online. I'm referring to the Jessie Woo and StorytimeWithRukki interview. They did an amazing job. Shout out to them. And we're also going to discuss an interview that Marissa did after the breakup about Ramses that will give us a bit more insight onto why she took it so hard, okay? So as the episode opens up, we pick up right where we left off, and we're still in the bedroom with Marissa and Ramses, and she's trying to convince Ramses of the risks of falling in love. Ramses lets Marissa know that he spoke to some family members last night about his previous marriage. Sir, why are we speaking... Okay, let me calm down. All right, but why are we speaking about your previous marriage when you about to get married to me? Anyway, so the family tells Ramses that his ex-wife was actually hurting after the divorce a lot more than he realized. One, what did he expect after a divorce, okay? And two, how many years has it been? Why is that affecting you so much? I honestly don't think that this has anything to do with his ex-wife, but we'll get to that. I also wasn't 100% clear if Ramses spoke to his own family or to his ex's family. Wasn't sure about that, but in my previous video, someone did point out in the comments that the fact that Ramses' family is still cool with his ex, because remember, when Marissa asked him if he invited his family, he said no, he didn't invite them because they're still really cool with his ex-wife. The fact that his family is still cool with his ex and is still in contact with his ex, even if it's just through Facebook, might be a sign that they're fully aware that he was in the wrong during this divorce, okay? And remember in the previous episode, Ramses was saying that he now understands where he went wrong in his previous marriage and how he could have been a better husband. And I feel like the fact that so many years have gone by and the family is still advocating for his ex-wife says a lot.
I'm just like scared that I end up hurting you. I just don't think like love alone is like enough, especially when it comes to living together.
But we talked about that. We talked about you needing your space.
As I was watching this scene, I wanted nothing more than for Marissa to get up and walk out. If you've been here for a couple of videos, you know I love me a good walkout, okay? But the last thing that I wanted to see was Marissa sitting here in tears trying to convince this man on why he should marry her. So Ramses is saying that his feelings are telling him to move forward, but this time around he wants to be more logical in his decision so that he doesn't mess up again.
It's about your energy and my energy. Is your energy gonna be like too much for me? There's so much going on. I feel like I didn't have a moment for myself.
I get it. I've heard that before.
It's not you, like it's me.
You told me you fell in love with me because of who I am.
But in the pods, like it felt amazing.
There are times where I do need to relax and calm down.
It honestly broke my heart to see my fellow Aries sister Marissa in so much pain, but in all honesty, I was not surprised when Ramses said this. Because as soon as that came out of his mouth, it reminded me of something that he said in the pods, and it made me give him the side eye in my review. And she also asks him if her personality would be too much for him at times. And he kind of tries to reassure her. He says, no, not really, as long as you have your moments when you're on your own. And I was like, what's that supposed to mean? Does he mean like you won't be too much for me as long as you have like times when you just like get away from me for a little bit? I don't know. That had me looking at Ramses kind of like, Still, Marissa is trying to convince him, and she says that she thinks that the difference in their energy is a good thing because sometimes she does need to calm down. And this broke my heart even more because so many people do this. I have done this when I was younger. You try to change things about yourself, about your personality to fit into someone's vision of what a perfect partner would be. And we see that Marissa is really fighting for this, and she is willing to change things about herself to be with Ramses. Now, I'm not talking about healthy compromises, okay? I totally understand that in every single relationship, you're going to have to make some changes to accommodate the other person's feelings. I totally get that. But this is a situation where I can see Marissa completely changing her entire personality for Ramses. And at this point, I was really hoping that this was a breakup scene because I could already see Marissa losing her spark, her playfulness, her bubbly personality, just to not be too much for Mr. Ramses and his two braids. And you know what happens when you do that? One, you end up resenting your partner because you wake up one day and you're like, who the hell am I? And then two, you'll have a partner like Ramses who says, what happened? You used to be so much fun. You used to be so bubbly and extra when we met. That's why I fell in love with you. You're not fun anymore. What happened? You happened, sir.
For the first time, I was like 100% myself. How could I feel so sure and you not? I just want someone to choose me, right? Like.
Hold on a second. What's going on here? I didn't know if it was a bodysuit. I didn't know if it was a thong. I didn't know what was going on, but clearly the producers did because they played the perfect song for this scene.
Rejection is protection, girl. He was wearing a thong the whole time. Rejection is protection, girl. He was wearing a thong the whole time. He was wearing a thong. Yeah. And he didn't want to put a condom on. Don't cry, don't cry. He's wearing a thong.
I play too much, right? I do. I couldn't help it because what was that? Anyways, back to Marissa, okay? So we see Marissa, she's breaking down completely and she's asking Ramses if he's sure. She's telling him that he's making a huge mistake and it hurts so bad. And she's remembering all of the things that they just said to each other 2 days ago. And he was so sure in his decision. And now he's breaking up with her.
I feel like I'm dying. I feel crazy. Did I make it all up in my head?
Are you okay?
No, we called off the wedding.
What?
Mom.
We see Marissa call her mom and I'm like, yes, Vanessa, come over here right now. Chop off them balls like you said you would and chop them 2 braids off too. And honestly, at this point, I'm like, just rename this show Rejection is Protection because how many times have I had to say it? Just like in the song, rejection is protection. That has been the theme this entire season. Oh, and another thing, this scene also reminded me of something that Ramses said in a preview, okay? And I remember in my review, I said, you know what? I'm feeling Ramses right now. He's giving plant daddy energy. I'm feeling it, but he said something that got me looking at him sideways.
If I was engaged, I would have sex with you. If I was engaged, I would have sex with you.
Who was Ramses talking to? Clearly that was during the honeymoons, right? Who was he talking to? Talking about he would sleep with them if he wasn't engaged. Why we didn't get that scene? So after episode 12 aired, Marissa did an interview with Vulture magazine to give us more information on what happened during this entire breakup scene, okay? So they asked her, what caused your breakup? Did it stem from a bigger conversation or did Ramses bring it up out of the blue? Marissa says, I was pretty blindsided by the level of doubt and uncertainty that he felt. Before that, our hardest day was us talking about a conversation he had with a family friend about how his last marriage ended and how his ex-wife had taken it. When this was brought to my attention, I had a feeling it was going to lead to some issue, but I didn't think we were going to break up. I just thought, okay, he's feeling really sad about this. He's feeling very deeply about this. So in the lead up to this conversation, I was like, hey, I feel like something's off. I feel like that's very typical of a man and a woman in a relationship. The man starts acting differently and I have to come in and say, hey, what's the deal? Then he was like, yeah, I'm having doubts. I don't know if he was ever going to bring it up otherwise. So Marissa feels like he would have taken it all the way to the altar and possibly rejected her at the altar had she not pried and asked him, hey, what's up? What's going on? I'm sensing a change. They asked Marissa, who were you able to meet from Ramses' friend circle? We didn't see any of that on screen. Marissa says, I met his mom through FaceTime and she was lovely. She's very beautiful and very nice. I met his brother and his niece. And then I met his closest friend, David, who was at the tux fitting. And I also met 2 of his close girlfriends, girls that are friends, not ex-girlfriends, okay? Those meetings went really well. They talked a lot about how, yes, they noticed a difference in our energy, but they thought it was very complimentary. And Ramses was so sure until he wasn't, right? It didn't seem like any of his friends asked him that. I think his brother might have, but that day was the day before the breakup. So she met his family and all of that and his 2 girlfriends. Yeah, Ramses does take me as the type of guy to have a bunch of girlfriends, okay? Next question. So the interviewer said, that's so jarring. And Marissa says, it was so jarring. I'm not going to lie. Had he told me throughout the process, oh yeah, I love you, babe, but there are some things we need to figure out before I move on, that would have helped me with the breakup. But when someone is looking you in the face every day, multiple times a day, saying, I'm 100% in, it's jarring to hear all of a sudden, not only do I no longer want to get married to you, I don't want to date you anymore. I don't want to do anything anymore. And she also says, at that point, you feel like your world's upside down, really. You're like, am I freaking crazy? I understand both sides of this. I understand Marissa saying, what the hell? You were telling me that you were 1,000% in every single day. But also, Marissa, you two disagreed on some major things. Like, fundamental things, right? So even if Ramses hadn't said it, you didn't feel that way on your own. You didn't want to take a step back like, hold on, we disagree on military. We disagree on family planning. Like you guys disagree on so much. Why is it just on Ramses to be the one to vocalize that things aren't 100% where they should be, right? Anyways, next question. After the breakup, you called your mom to talk through it. What did she say to you when you told her the wedding was off? Marissa says, oh, she was actually pretty devastated for me just because I was devastated. When I called her, she was about an hour away from me and Ramses because the wedding was in a couple days and she was driving up to stay the night. Her initial response was, all right, so let me talk to him. And I was like, no, you're gonna freaking bitch him out. But in actuality, she went and privately spoke to him off camera saying, please don't do this to my daughter. You guys clearly do love each other. What's going on? Just trying to get him to see reason that it's so scary we could do this. Her response was actually a lot different than I thought it would be. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I thought that Marissa's mom, Vanessa, would pick up that phone and curse Ramses out. Curse him out. And the fact that they were already on their way there for the wedding and then she gets this news. Honestly, what is that surprising to y'all? I didn't think that her mom would react that way. I thought that she would be actually very upset and cursing Ramses out. So like, was all of that rah-rah stuff just for the cameras and you kind of chill, Vanessa? Let me know. What's tea? So next they asked Marissa, so to confirm, the breakup was a complete split, not just postponing the wedding. And she says, it was a complete split. I gave him the option because he kept saying, I love you. I want to be with you. My heart wants to be with you. But I have to be logical here. I can't follow my emotions. I was like, okay, let's be logical. We don't have to get married. We can just stay engaged. Or we don't have to stay engaged. We can just date. So Marissa was trying to give him a couple of options. And she says, I didn't really want to break up with him, to be honest, but I was willing to meet him at a place where he was never willing to meet me. He'd already made his decision. I really had no say in the breakup. It's one thing to say, hey, babe, I love you, but I need more time because we have a lot of things that we need to work out. Let's just keep dating. That's one thing. This dude didn't even want to date her. That makes me believe that Ramses been knew that he didn't want to be with Marissa. Like I said in a previous review, both Ramses and Marissa handle confrontation very poorly, but at least Marissa tried to get an answer out of Ramses because as we can see, if she didn't ask him, I fully believe that Ramses would have taken this all the way to the altar and embarrassed her at the altar. So next question, they asked, this lack for room of discussion does make me think of Ramses' seemingly uncompromising opposition to condoms. What did you make of that resistance and were you eventually able to find some kind of resolution? Marissa says we decided to keep doing what we were doing, which was I tracked my menstrual cycle and we made sure during my ovulation time that we were being careful, either using a condom or abstaining. We did talk about a vasectomy. He actually was like, whoa, I need to think about that. Most men don't have to think about that. It kind of addressed this privilege that he never needed to think about it. I knew it was bad at the time, but looking at it from the rear view, I literally said either wear a condom or accept the consequences. And he didn't want to do either. Looking back, I'm like, okay, if I ended up pregnant, would it be my fault? Would he have said,
well, I told you I didn't want to have kids?
I don't know. Ramses, you you and your thong can go to hell, okay? When the interviewer asked Marissa how did she heal from this situation, she said, it's probably the most heartbreaking I've ever felt. I don't really recall much of the 2 days after the breakup. I cried a lot. I couldn't speak honestly. I didn't really want to exist. And I felt that way not because Ramses and I weren't together. That obviously hurt and devastated me, but my brain shut down because I couldn't understand how I didn't see it coming. Wow. I felt very dumb and very stupid. It made me question everything I've worked on in therapy for many years. I would say it took me probably about 6 months to finally feel like somewhat of a normal person again. I had to stop drinking. I was drinking a lot. I was going out a lot, and my behavior was kind of reckless. And I recognized that and took a break from all of that. Obviously, I went to therapy and I surrounded myself with my friends and family. That's how I coped. This is horrible. This is a mess. What happened to Plant Daddy? What happened to you walking around burning incense and rubbing your toes in the carpet like I envisioned? What happened? Anyways, so it's bachelor/bachelorette night. We see Tyler and Garrett. They go to a basketball game and they have some drinks and they play a little game of basketball musical chairs on the court, and that's about it. And then for the ladies, we see Ashley and Taylor. They have a pajama party and it was cute. I did something like this with my little cousins for like her 7th birthday party. It was very cute. The girls had a time, okay? It was open bar and the box juices and sodas were flowing. But as far as bachelor and bachelorette parties are concerned, in my opinion, these events were wiggity, wiggity, wiggity whack. So let's move on. So child, it's Tyler and Ashley's wedding day. And before we get into the wedding, let's talk about this interview that Jessie Woo and StorytimeWithRukki did with Tyler's baby mama's ex-wife. So as many of y'all know, the mother of Tyler's children, Bri, she dropped a video explaining what happened between her and Tyler. Well, at least her version of what happened between her and Tyler, okay? And she at least made it clear that the twins were conceived the good old-fashioned way, okay? Ain't no turkey baster, no nothing, all right? She said that after her and her wife divorced, Tyler reached out to her and asked her if he can be an active father in the children's life because he did not want them to grow up in a single-parent home like he did. She also wanted to make it very clear that her videos were not to bash Tyler, but she said that she has to speak out of it for the sake of her children and because he is running around calling their children sperm donor babies. So she wanted to set the record straight. And she actually said that her and Tyler were real good right up until he left for filming. She said that they even discussed her going to the weddings if he got married on the show. Okay, so that's pretty much the synopsis of what happened in her video. If there was more and I left something out, I'll link the video below, okay? So now in the Jessie and Ricky interview, her ex-wife came to tell her truth. And she gave hella info because apparently some people felt like Bree had some holes in her story. So like I said previously, I wasn't able to catch the entire interview, but I will read some clip notes that were posted by Lydia Arenas. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, on Threads. And I'll also link the interview down below so that you guys can watch it yourselves. But trigger warning for what I am about to read, there are some mentions of DV and domestic ABUSC. Okay, so for one, her name is Deshawn. So she says that he was cheating on his first fiance every weekend with multiple women, would come back and tell them, her and Bri, stories about his little escapades, okay? Tyler used to have threesomes with a friend's wife regularly while engaged to his previous fiance. This is all alleged. I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know if it's true. This is all alleged, okay? Don't come for me because I don't got it. All right, number 3. First baby turns out wasn't a sperm donor baby and was also conceived naturally when the wife was out of town. So when Deshawn was out of town, she did say that she got a call and Bree told her, hey, I got pregnant, which was kind of strange to her because they had been trying the turkey baster method for some time and it was never successful. It's not until she went out of town all of a sudden Bri was able to get pregnant, okay? And she also said that the reason why Bri didn't want to confirm how the babies were conceived is because they were married and they're both military. And apparently there are very big repercussions in the military if it's found that you were cheating on your spouse, okay? The baby mama Bri was abusive towards the ex-wife Deshawn, says it was an marriage and Bri tried to unalive her at one point. Even though Bri and Deshawn were married, Tyler kept coming over and doing things like taking out the trash and encroaching on their household, trying to become the man of the house. Child support had been issued from day one. Tyler claimed to make 6 figures, showed tax returns, but when asked for money for formula, claimed he only had $50 to his name. Okay, so those are the cliff notes, and these are other details that I remembered from the interview. So Deshawn claims that Tyler allegedly helped Bri get custody of the child, by appearing to be a father in the child's life from the very beginning, even though Deshaun was the one on the birth certificate and the original agreement was that Tyler would not be involved. She also said that she was really stressed and depressed with the whole custody battle, and eventually she just gave up. And she also says that it's crazy that Tyler claimed to want to be a dad so that the kids wouldn't grow up in a single mother household, only to leave Bri a single mother. This entire situation is so messy, and not messy like, ooh, girl, that's messy, but messy in a very sad way because you have children involved. You have these children who are going to eventually watch this show and see their father calling them sperm donor babies, see their father telling another woman that they don't even know what he looks like. He's not in their life. See their father talking to another woman as if he has no children when they exist. That's really effed up. I feel like obviously a lot of people are going to want to know what Ashley knew prior to the wedding, because we don't know at this point. Hopefully that will be revealed at the reunion, but I've seen even now Ashley is still defending Tyler. It's like, tell me all your thoughts below. Like I don't even have any more to give to this situation. It's just horrible all around. And I totally understand that relationships don't always work. People break up, but that does not give you a right to abandon your child. Just because you and the mother didn't work out, that doesn't mean that you break up with your child. Yeah? Okay, you still have to be there for that kid. A mess. So with all that being said, let's get to this beautiful wedding ceremony. So we see Ashley. She's so excited. She says that she's been waiting for this day forever and she cannot wait to walk down the aisle. Tyler is also very excited. He says that he barely slept, and this is the most important day of his entire life.
Can't wait to spend the rest of my life with her. She's the most beautiful person in the world to me.
I am fully convinced that Tyler is one of those guys who can cry on cue. You know, some people can cry on cue, right? Just to evoke whatever emotions that they want to evoke from you. And those tears mean absolutely nothing. Anyway, so we see him playing pool with his friends, and they're talking about how in love Tyler is, and they're talking about if he's gonna have babies, as if he doesn't already have children. His friends ain't shit either.
So when y'all get out of here, what y'all got planned? Where y'all going?
To the baby making station.
See, now that one talking about, oh, what y'all doing after? He want to go to the after party, and I'm wondering if he was one of the friends that Deshaun was talking about that they would be doing. I think that's one of the friends. Allegedly, child. I don't know. I'm just a lady on the internet making videos. I don't know anything. I don't know these people. So next we see Ashley's loved ones. They come bearing gifts. They tell her how much she deserves this. And we get some insight into how badly Ashley really wants this.
Thought I would reach this point a while ago. The quality of men, and we on clearance rack. I feel safe. I feel protected emotionally.
Ashley, you talking about the clearance rack? Meanwhile, Tyler is in the free bin outside of the store that the clearance rack is in, baby. Tyler is in the free bin.
Every day he wakes up and gets me coffee. Every single day.
If I hear Ashley talk about this damn coffee one more time, he lied to you about having 3 kids and you keep talking about coffee. She tells her friends that they went skydiving and most guys won't even take you to 7-Eleven, baby. That don't mean anything. That just means he wanted to jump out of a plane that day. That don't mean that he's... Oh, Ashley, you gonna make me cry, girl. Aww. And she also tells her friends that the only way that she would say no at the altar is if something catastrophic happened right before the wedding or if the feeling was just off in the moment, okay? But she says that she's taking a leap of faith and trusting this process 180%. We also learned that Ashley's dad has not been in her life until recently, and the recent passing of her grandfather is what made her really want to build that relationship with her dad. And she also says that she has to accept him for who he is as opposed to who she wants him to be. And I'm like, oh, so Pops, you weren't even in the picture and you were at that date with Tyler talking tough like, this my baby girl, this my only daughter, and you weren't even there. And it started to make so much sense to me as to why Ashley wants this marriage so badly and why she's willing to accept certain things and why she tries to always see the good in people, which is a good trait, okay? But she did say that instead of choosing to be upset with her dad, she chose to heal and forgive. And I honestly feel like that is the same approach that she's taking in this situation with Tyler. So next we see Tyler. He's crying to his mom because he's thinking about them kids. No, that's not why. But when his mom asks him if he's sure, he does look kind of doubtful, but his mom tells him that it's just nerves. We see him talk about his dad not being there, and he says that he's actually happy that his dad didn't come because it would would be hard for him to be very vulnerable around someone who was essentially a stranger, because Tyler didn't have his dad in his life either. And I'm sure that Tyler and Ashley bonded on that. We see Ashley's dad about to walk her down the aisle. He says some whatever. Everything hits differently now that I know that he wasn't in her life. So it's like, okay, sir, I hear you, but whatever. But nonetheless, I thought that Ashley looked absolutely gorgeous. We see her dad walk her halfway down the aisle and then hands her to her mother, who actually gives her away, right? And I said, period. Yeah, mama gonna give her away because mama was the one there doing the work. Mama raised her.
I promise to cherish every moment I commit to building. I promise to love you.
My Tyler. I've never felt a love this pure. You literally jumped out of a plane for me.
Tyler, do you take Ashley to be your wife?
I do.
Ashley, you take Tyler to be your husband?
I do.
Oh my God.
3.
Yeah, I'm floating.
So congratulations to those two. Everyone was happy for them, of course, but child production wasn't, because the song that they played, I was like, hold up.
Ashley should have said no. He got 3 kids at home, and he didn't tell her till it was too late. And she was in love with him. He made her coffee, so she fell in love with him. Said no, he got 3 kids at home, and he didn't tell her till it was too late. And then he said he was a sperm donor, but that was bullshit.
The songs in this episode have been everything, okay? Just everything. I don't know who did those songs, but that girl good. All right, so now it's time for Taylor and Garrett's wedding. The both of them are extremely excited, and they already seem so sure about marrying each other. We see Garrett tell his friends that things are good with his parents, but there's still room for improvement, okay? We see Mama Fong. She gives Taylor a little bonnet from when she was a baby for her something old. This was such a sweet and sentimental moment. Next, we see Taylor's dad in a scene with Garrett, and I loved every second of it. He helps Garrett with his bow tie, and at this point, I was like, oh, this is so sweet, but it's bittersweet because I feel like Garrett's dad should be doing this, but they're not at the wedding. So I was a little sad in this moment, but I loved how Taylor's dad reassured him that he had more than just their blessing, and him and his wife Fong trust their decision. It's absolutely clear that Garrett made an amazing impression on both of Taylor's parents, because Taylor's dad went from not wanting to be on camera, okay, to giving his blessing, getting on camera, having a scene with Garrett, and sharing a sentimental moment with Garrett. I loved it. But baby, Netflix knew what they were doing, because the way I gagged when I saw Garrett's parents, oh my God, I didn't expect to be that happy, but I was really very happy to see them come to the wedding.
So, now that you two have arrived, it is.
Your mind's made up, and I don't have any intention of trying to talk you out of it. You're a wonderful human being, and I know that she's a great human being too.
Garrett tells his family and friends that him and Taylor promised each other that they would only say yes if they really, really meant it. And the way that Garrett and Taylor both are, they seem like very logical people, very like straight to the point people. I truly believe that that is a promise that they would both keep and not play around with. Like if it's no, it's gonna be no. If it's yes, it's gonna be yes. We see them give Garrett some words of wisdom, and we learn that their wedding date is also the 13th. Taylor's parents were married on the 13th, and now Garrett and Taylor are also getting married on the 13th. Can you get any more perfect than that? So of course, Garrett's mom gets emotional. She's there. She wants to be supportive of her son, but you can tell that it's still a little hard for her. But they do say that they trust his decision, and they know that he's given this a lot of thought, even more thought than they gave before they got married. Okay? So it's wedding time. Taylor looks gorgeous, and she looks so happy to be walking down the aisle to Garrett.
Taylor and Garrett, as scientists, you've just conducted the most important experiment of your lives. Garrett, do you take Taylor to be your wife?
I absolutely do.
Taylor, do you take Garrett to be your husband?
I do.
I am so happy for these two. Congratulations to them. They're not perfect, okay? We got some things that they're gonna have to work on, because sometimes Taylor could be a little bit, but I think if they get it figured out, maybe do some couples counseling, okay? Taylor learns how to not put what her ex did to her on Garrett. Garrett learns how to not play talking about no damn semantics. And when you get asked the question, answer the question truthfully the first time. I think if they get that together, these two gonna be all right. I think they're gonna be all right. So now it's time for the receptions. We see Taylor and Garrett get a cute little horse and carriage ride to their reception. And as I saw Taylor and Garrett at their reception, I was like, hold on. We didn't get to see Ashley and Tyler. As soon as I said that, boom, we saw them on the screen. Ashley, Tyler, and Tyler's kids.
Love is blind.
I'm looking forward to tomorrow waking up and
All right. I'm sorry. I'm gonna stop playing with y'all. I'm gonna stop playing with y'all. But ain't that some shit? It wasn't a child-free wedding. There were children there. Tyler, why was everyone's kid there except for yours? So that was the episode, y'all. Tell me what y'all predictions are for the reunion. I know one thing. They better not spend the whole reunion talking about Leo and his Rolex and what happened between him and Brittany in Miami. That's OT. We wanted answers to that weeks ago. Now the real tea drop. We don't care about that anymore, okay? Y'all better ask questions, real questions. I want to know about this hand over the mouth situation with Alex and Tim, because now Alex is claiming that she did not put her hand over Tim's mouth. I want to hear about that. I want to know if when Marissa's mom came over to the apartment, did she cut Rams's braids off or his balls? I want to know that, okay? I want to see those kinky texts that Steven was sending during his sleep test. I want to see those texts. How kinky we talking, okay? I want to know the extent of what Ashley knew before she said I do. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Ashley pregnant. I wouldn't be surprised. I also want to know if Nick was really attracted to and in love with Hannah the way he claims, because word on the street is that Nick was playing it up for the cameras, and that's why he was letting Hannah talk to him any kind of way, because he was just focused on getting a good edit on the show, okay? But behind the cameras, he was talking a whole bunch of shit about Hannah. I want to hear about that, okay? Let me know all your thoughts below. We discussed so much in this video. Don't forget to hit like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you're made aware when I post my new video. And I cannot wait to see you at the reunion. Bye!
Roxy says we're gonna talk.